Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Our show today is A Woman's Prerogative in partnership with E360 TV. A warm welcome to our loyal viewers and our viewers and friends at E360 TV, as well as all our usual friends across our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. Today's topic is defining happiness, diverse paths to fulfillment and the pursuit of joy. This is something that's quite dear to my heart because what started out as being a pursuit for happiness became very different in my later life. So I'm interested to explore this topic and find some interesting perspectives from our wonderful panelists. Tonight we have the wonderful and very beautiful Reverend LYDIA FOUGERES joining us all the way, and I think it's from Canada. You'll have to correct me if it's not. Reverend LYDIA, please come out and join us.
Good day, and thank you for that beautiful introduction. And I seem to you, you're as beautiful as always.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure to be there, so thank you for having me. And I am in Canada.
Great, I remembered it right. I knew it was somewhere over there, I just wasn't quite sure where. Thank you, Reverend. So please, for our viewers, especially the ones that are here for the first time that don't know you, please tell us a little bit about the work that you do and how you help people. And also, if you can give us a project that you're working on, a new project that you're working on.
Well, I am an author to start with. I was a registered nurse, a holistic nurse. I have experience in ICU, emergency psychiatry. I'm a master in Reiki, therapeutic touch, and quantum touch. Also, I balance chakras, and I'm an active listener. And what I'm doing is I write books, self-healing books. I'm on my third one. I'm starting a fourth one. The third is finished, but the two first ones are on sale on Amazon. So that is what I am doing, what I am working on, and they can be bought on my platforms, on my website, and on Amazon. That is what I am doing.
Thank you, Reverend LYDIA. And for myself, I help people best their stress. How do I do that? I identify the root cause that's creating their stress within the first place. So if they have physical or mental or emotional pain, I identify the initial root cause of where it first began. I also work with the chakras. I work with root cause therapy and chakra psychology. And I also work with people that are struggling to find a path through their relationships. And I'm also, as the wonderful Dr. Jacalyn has brought up, I'm featured as a guest speaker at one of my other promoters events in London, in Kensington, at the end of the month on the 30th of November. and I'm going to be speaking about how to bust your stress. So it's quite exciting because Des O'Connor was my initial first promoter that I ever worked with, and we're getting back together again for the launch of his AI conference and consultancy and empowerment conference. So I'm very excited about that. So without further ado, let's move into the topic. The topic is defining happiness, diverse paths to fulfillment and the pursuit of joy. This is episode 149 today. And we do have, this is part one, we have a part two in a few hours' time, which will be exploring even more on defining happiness. So for you, Reverend Lydia, what does happiness mean to you? When you think of that word, what does it mean to you in your life right now?
Happiness to me is walking my talk, actually, to stay authentic to myself, being kind to others, being understanding also, and doing the right things. So that is happiness to me. Always respecting others. That is the way I am happy. The woods, being in the woods. I love being in the woods. And I like to share pictures with other people of what I see. It is something that many people do not have the luck to see. So what I do is that I take tons of pictures and I share them on Facebook and on Instagram so that it makes some people very happy just to see those pictures, just to feel what I see. So that is the way happiness is for me.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. And for me, happiness right now is very different, and we're going to explore what I mean by that in terms of where it used to be. But right now, happiness is peace of mind. It's a calm, an inner calm, and it's also about feeling okay to be not okay. Okay to feel human. Because sometimes we do have challenges in our lives that we have to handle. And happiness for me can be quite small, but to be okay, to feel an inner peace and an inner calm is where my happiness lies right now. And when it's been disturbed, it feels uncomfortable. And when it's uncomfortable, I don't perform very well in terms of my personal self-care. So to be happy for me right now in this moment is to feel personally calm and have peace of mind, whatever challenges I might be feeling right now, personally and professionally. Reverend Lydia, how has that evolved for you over time in terms of looking at happiness? Has happiness changed for you in terms of what it is now versus what it would have been when you were younger?
Well, when I was younger, I was always stressed. I was always pushing myself. I was always asking more and more and more. And I never was really happy because I never was satisfied with what I could do. So I was asking too much to myself. So I realized with the years that it's okay. As you said, it's so beautifully said. It's okay not to be okay. And I realized it was okay not to be okay. It was okay not to have every good day, every day a good day. And it's okay to be sad. It's just, it's for a while. That is, we just accept. So I was asking a lot to myself, and now I'm happy, even if I know, even if some mini drama is happening, I can be happy anyway because I know it's going to solve. So that's my way of being happy. And different from when I was young, where I actually thought it was the end of the world at some point, even if I was meditating and trying to walk my talk, which I was not always doing.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. That so resonates with me because it's very similar for me that when I was younger, happiness meant having a full diary of social activities with friends. I was always out. I was always whining and dining. I was here, there, and everywhere. And I had to be seen. I had to be on the map. And that for me was happiness. It was being seen, showing up, being at all the right in all the right places, all the right events, all the right parties, all the right places that I would be seen and be applauded. And that was very much from my corporate life. And it was very much a steer for me in terms of I was looking for an approval. My happiness was only based when I was much younger and in corporate on being approved of and pleasing others, to the point that I didn't really, like yourself, Reverend Lydia, I wasn't really happy. I was doing everything that I thought was expected of me rather than doing what felt right for me. And from that perspective, it wasn't happy, and yet it was deemed to be happy because I was being seen. I was everywhere I should be and being photographed. I used to be very much pictured in the press, all that time ago before social media. I was at all the black tie dinners and all the soirees and receptions where we were pictured from the press and shown to be a socialite. I was very much a socialite and always seen. And I became a spokesperson for a voluntary organization that I belonged to. And it was, for me, that was happiness. But I didn't realize it was the ego of happiness rather than the inner fulfillment of happiness. What are your thoughts, Reverend Lydia, on what I've just shared with you? And do you have any thoughts on the fact that I was thinking that I was happy at the time, but on reflection, looking back, I realize I wasn't very fulfilled?
Well, I was exactly the same way. I actually thought I was happy. I thought I was living the Canadian dream. I thought that professionally it could not be better. I was married. I had beautiful children. My professional life was amazing, and I was loved by everyone. But the thing is that I was like you. I was a people pleaser. I never said no to anyone. So even if I was out of time, I would make time. I would lack of sleep because I wanted to please. So sometimes I sleep 2 hours for 3, 4 days in a row to be everywhere at the same time. So that is, I thought I was happy like you. And so many people think they are happy, but when they just sit back and look at their life, they realize they're just doing an act. They're just acting their life. They're not living their life, they're acting their life.
I'm in total agreement with you. And at the same time, at the time, I really thought I was it. I really thought that it was kind of that I'd reached the state of self-actualization, that I was pictured in the media, I was here, there, and everywhere, and I was at the right soirees. And it was more about image. And at that time, I was in marketing and PR, and it's all about who you're seeing, when you're seen, and sort of, I'm going to share something rather silly, but at the time, it was very prevalent in corporate that there was, I had to learn the political game, and people would share with me some of their insights, and they would deliberately make sure that they would be entering an elevator at the same time as the CEO, because it didn't matter that you hadn't had a meeting with them, that you were seen together. And it was all about who you were seen with and what the relevance of that was and how people gave that meaning. And I found it very difficult because I just did what I did. And at the same time, I realized that in that moment that I was doing the right things to be approved of. So do you believe, Reverend Lydia, that happiness is a destination, or do you believe it's a journey? Because that's what we're covering right now. That's what we're doing. We're actually looking at how we feel happy now, how we were happy when we were younger, and where we feel our loyalty lies in terms of our own inner happiness. So what are your thoughts on, is it a destination? Is it a journey? And why do you think what you think?
Well, I think it is a journey because at moments we are less happy. Some moments we are more happy. We are in bliss. We are, everything is perfect. And then a day or two after, things just go to shambles. Then we pick up the pieces and we're happy again. So I think it's a journey. It's not really a destination because the destination, it means that it is going to stay there. You cannot be totally happy all the time. You cannot be in bliss all the time. It's impossible. It's impossible to be in bliss at all times. But if you live the journey of trying to be the happiest that you can, working on it all the time, and just telling yourself, I'm doing the best that I can to be happy. Well, you're doing your journey. You're not you. There's no destination. Actually, the destination is the journey. That is the way I see it.
Again, Reverend Lydia, some really great insights and perspectives. Thank you so much for sharing your personal perspectives. For me, I also agree with you. We're having an agreement thing here that's going on. I do agree that it is a journey, and I don't believe it's a destination. And at the same time, when I was younger, if I was dancing and I danced my little feet off, that was happiness. That felt good. And I'm not too much different now. I do what's called ecstatic dancing, which is slightly different, but still shaking my body and moving and gyrating in ways that makes me feel good. But it's actually dancing through the chakras and dancing to a place of inner bliss. And so my journey has gone from needing to be in a nightclub, needing to be in a destination or a venue, and becoming in a state of inner bliss and inner peace in my own space. And so I used to go out a lot, and now my whole thing has changed into going inside to be happy outside. And just sharing a little bit more about that, when I would do a gong bath, for instance, I would just float home and I would feel amazing. And that's something that I'm missing in my new hometown, that there isn't any gong baths. So perhaps I need to create them in my new area. The other thing about dancing is when we were in lockdown and we weren't allowed to go out, I was dancing in my living room, and it was an online thing, and I almost forgot because I could hear the music and I was dancing to my own rhythm and feeling a state of inner fulfillment, inner peace and inner bliss. And I was moaning and groaning with what I would only state as being blissfully happy. So my journey has gone from needing to be out and about and needing to be at the right places to finding that internally. And something that my beautiful friend who was a monk shared with me, he said, if you can dance, because I used to always dance and still do occasionally, at night, late at night, with my headset on, in my bedroom or in my office, and I'd be singing for all England and dancing, and I would feel amazing. And he said, when you reach that point of not needing to be somewhere specific, the journey of self is an internal state of happiness, bliss, and fulfillment. What are your thoughts on what I've just shared, Reverend Lydia?
Well, what I think it's so interesting what you just said, because I was thinking about what you actually said about the lockdown. During the lockdown, it was difficult. I do admit it was difficult, but many people found themselves during the lockdown because they were not in company of anyone else. They were in their own company. So I was doing the same thing as you. I'm the kind of person that sings karaoke, dances, I read, I do many things on my own. And I actually started also exercising, did not go to the yoga. I did it at home. I was doing all kinds of interactions with only myself and a screen. And I was happy. I was really happy doing that. And I felt I felt fulfilled by the experience because it was so important for me to do it right, but I was not in competition with anyone. It was just for me. So it was just like I was just making myself happy. No one could actually see me, and I was just making myself happy. So the lockdown, even if it was a difficult time for everyone, for me, actually, it was beneficial. I saw it as a positive time, even if it was a very, very negative time where many people lost their lives and God bless their souls. We do have to think about that. But many lost their souls, but many found themselves during the lockdown. That is the way I see it.
I have the same thoughts, and at the same time, I had a difficult time in lockdown because everything was on Zoom and I avoided it. I said, no, I'm not doing Zoom. It's going to come back. And I was being very antagonistic about not joining into the party. And I was resistant in joining in on the online activities. So much so, and you'll smile when I say this, that my trusty 13-year-old desktop computer, my big computer I'd had for 13 years, died completely keeled over. And so I had to update my technology. And that was in the October 2020. And when I updated my technology, suddenly my world changed. And I went online. I had the latest whizzy laptop, and I suddenly got invited to conferences, and something incredible happened. And I do believe that when challenge occurs, and I wouldn't let go of my trusty 13-year-old computer, I just said, no, I'm not doing it. And I had a tiny little iPad. And so Zoom calls were very difficult, and they weren't nice for me because I was squinting at the screen. My old trusty desktop didn't work so well with Zoom because it wasn't updated enough for the technology. And so I had a difficult time, and there was a resistance. But when I moved through the resistance, something very wonderful happened. I discovered a new world of getting in touch with people and reaching people. And I was invited to conferences all over the world. I was doing conferences and speaking to people in Nigeria who really needed my help. And that opened my eyes, my resistance. Through the resistance came something quite amazing that I was not expecting. And that leads me on to my next question. In our world that's literally dominated by social media, do you think our pursuit of happiness has been affected by the fact that there's so much social media?
Yes, we are affected that there is so much social media, because there is not only positive social media, there is negative social media also. There is a lot of hacking. We have to be very careful. We have to be aware of scammers. So have to we have to be happy in the new technology, but we have to be very careful with being scammed. That is the thing. So we have to know more technology. We have to learn more. We have to be more up to date. That is that is the challenge, actually. So we have to be up to date and act and be happy with the technology, but at the same time, we have to be safe. We have to play it safe at the same time, because behind a computer, you do not really know the person. It's an image after all. It's only an image. You do not really know the person. That is the way I see it.
We could be singing from the same hymn sheet here, Reverend Lydia, because I also feel very similar to you that there are challenges with the fact that social media can be everything that you want it to be, and at the same time everything you don't want it to be. I'm bombarded on social media with tons of sponsored adverts that I find it difficult to get through to my normal friendship base, and I find it very difficult to really interact and connect sometimes because I am bombarded with social media ads, and frequently it comes up with, was this the right post for you? And it was from a friend. And so my limited, I have over 6,000 people on Facebook, but I have a limited amount of people that I can actually reach in terms of seeing their posts and them seeing mine. And I totally agree with you about the fact that it's difficult to know what's real and what's pretend, I'm going to say, what's authentic, because there is so much, and it's been brought up, it's a very political topic. It's brought up time and time again about people that are demonstrating the what I call the social media face. So everything is wonderful. Everything is absolutely amazing. But then when you talk to them behind those scenes and you really speak to somebody in that inner moment of authentic communication, you find out that there's some things that they're having to handle. And one of the challenges that I've been seeing, especially when I talk to young people in particular, that are very much entrenched in their social media activities, is that when they look at other people's profiles and their posts, they start to have an anxiety that their life isn't as wonderful, that their life isn't as happy. And there's certainly much more focus on looking at other people's wonderful lives and then the inner reflection of, well, I'm not happy, and so therefore there's something that's wrong. What are your thoughts about what I've just shared, Reverend Lydia?
I have to admit, I think exactly like you, because people have a tendency to think that the grass is always greener in the neighbor's yard. So, and there are a lot of people that pretend that they became wealthy overnight, bitcoins, whatever, the trades, and it's just fake. It does not happen. So many people invest their money, they invest all that they own, and they lose it because of the image that someone else projects. So we have to be very careful about that, because yes, it looks better in someone else's life, but we do not know what that person is living. It is easy to go and see go and borrow someone's Porsche or their Lamborghini and say it's our Lamborghini and take a picture post it on Facebook and say, see, look, I succeeded. I have a Lamborghini. Who's going to verify? No one can verify. So that is the way things are. People think that others succeed when the ones that say they have succeeded have not succeeded. And I will give an example about that. There's a person that wrote a book about how to be a millionaire in 1 year, but he was still on the bus. He borrowed a car for his cover work, and there was nothing real about being a millionaire in 1 year. There was nothing real about the whole thing. It was just invented, but he became rich writing that book because the thing is that he had not succeeded at all. He had borrowed the car, he had borrowed the house, he had borrowed everything to look good, to look as if he had succeeded. But he had not succeeded at all. He succeeded after he made people believe he has succeeded. So that is how it goes, and we have to be careful about those things.
It's fascinating, Reverend Lydia, what you've just shared, because it is very easy to be taken in by what we see on social media as the reality of somebody's life. I too have gone to those personal self-development seminars, and I've seen them, flash the Lamborghini or the latest whiz-bang car. And it's so easy to be caught up in the imagery of somebody's success. And for me, I was very much like that. I had to be in all the right places and be seen. And something changed for me. And that was really, it's been a journey. It didn't just happen overnight. It was a journey of deference, really, in terms of losing my dad when I was 36 years old. I just got married. And that, to me, I didn't expect it. I wasn't expecting to lose my dad. And at 36 years old, I was quite shocked. I thought, no, he's always been around. That's never going to happen. And even though it sounds very crazy, I then embarked on this journey of still straddling both lives, my corporate life and my therapy life. And one of the people that I was doing some voluntary work for, the director of, he was chairman of the Chartered Institute of Marketing. I was the vice chairman and organising all the events in central London and speaking to all sorts of very absolutely amazingly celebratory speakers and, authors, and really in their fame and their fortune. And we used to go out for a drink afterwards, and in the bar, I was still be drinking wine at that point. It took me a little while to stop doing that. And one of the things that he said to me in confidence, in quiet contemplation, he said, "How do you straddle your two sides of your life?" And I found that a fascinating insight, because he knew that I was meditating and I was training and I was doing NLP, stress management, hypnotherapy. And I shared some of the things with him. But he said, "How do you make the two work?" And at that time, it was because he noticed I wasn't. He noticed I was one type of person when I was out with the corporate gang, and I was another type of person when I was in my therapy world. And it took me a little while to move into that place of inner peace. We are almost at the end of our show. And what I do want to ask, I've got another question to ask, which is another deeper, meaningful question, is that what's the biggest challenge that people find that encompass and face in their pursuit of happiness? From your perspective, Reverend Lydia.
I do think that people struggle to be happy in their present moment. They are looking for happiness in the future, in someone else. They are looking, or in something else. They are not looking for happiness within themselves. They are looking for happiness outside of themselves. So happiness is within. It does not go, it's inside out, not outside in. So most people actually are looking for ways to find happiness when actually happiness is just there. That is all. It is just there to take.
I'm totally in agreement with you. I want to share one final thing before we move into making sure that people know how to contact us. And I'd like you to share a very quick tip as well, Reverend Lydia. And my quick tip to share is be grateful for whatever comes your way, whether it's a challenge, whether it's something that's wonderful, because with each way that we are grateful, with each thing that we are grateful for, it has a way of transforming. The challenges that we face transform. And this is how my beautiful monk, who was my best friend and my mentor and my rock and my hero, he would share this with me, that the monks live a life of challenge. It's never easy for them, and yet that's their path to inner happiness. That fulfillment and joy comes from the challenge, and the reward comes from stepping into that place of overcoming the challenges, so that the rewards for inner peace and inner bliss become significant. What's your quick tip, Reverend Lydia?
My quick tip is for people to know that whenever they fall, they can always get up again. Even if they trip, it does not matter, because there is always a way to get up. Even if they need a stick, it does not matter. They can get up again. It's never over. Only death is the end, and it's not even the end, because it is the beginning, which is what I think. Does not mean everyone should think that. But when you fall, say thank you and just get up. That is it. Because I know for a fact, I was in a wheelchair, and every time I would fall off my wheelchair, people would try to help me, and I'd say, no, I can do it. And I would do it, even if it took me 2 hours. So that was my lesson, and we always can get up.
Wow, thank you so much for an incredible share. That's amazing, Reverend Lydia, that you did that. Absolutely incredible. Thank you for your transparency, and thank you for being so open about your challenge. Well, we've come to the end of our show. So before we leave, please, Reverend Lydia, share how people can contact you and the best way to contact you.
They can contact me on Instagram, which is Diva Divine Mother /. My number is 514-582-6882, 514-582-6882 on WhatsApp. They can also write to lydiafougere.com, or they can actually follow me on Facebook or on Amazon also as an author. They can follow me there also. I will be always happy to answer, and greatdivinemother@gmail.com is the address to send me whatever idea, mail they want to share with me. I will be very glad to listen and to be there for them. Thank you very much. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. It's always a wonderful show with you, always insightful. And most of all, I feel that we ride on the same path in terms of how we view life. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you very much, Reverend Lydia. And before we leave, I want to share with you please do join our VIP exclusive community. Become an exclusive VIP community member and have first access to our newest videos and photographs and insights of the British royal family. It's live streamed on USA Global TV and Radio and YouTube. So please do join so that you have the best and the first access. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening, for joining us, whether you're on the live or the replay. I look forward to seeing you in a very short time for A Woman's Prerogative Part 2. It's 10 to 9 Greenwich Mean Time, GMT time, which is 10 to 4 tonight, Eastern time. And I look forward to seeing you where we will explore the same topic, part 2. So I look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye for now. And over to our sponsors.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you.
We face daily cyber risks, spending over 7 hours of screen time, including 4.5 hours on mobile phones. This convenience comes with significant dangers, with cybercrime costs predicted to exceed $10.5 trillion by 2025. In 2023 alone, seniors lost over $3.4 billion to cybercrime. Our goal is to make social engineering concepts of cybersecurity easier to understand. We work with business teams, senior living facilities, investment companies, and educational institutions, both individually and in groups. We offer real-life examples to help you recognize and prevent attacks, with sessions available both in person, in selected regions, and remotely. Schedule your training session, or to learn more, contact us today. Call us at 847-845-9360. Email us at info@cybersecurityeasy.com. Protect your team and family with cybersecurity, easy.com.